Hello, I'm Clint Walker, and this is Real Estate Appraiser Secrets. Today, we are going to answer the burning question: do closets count in the overall square footage of the house? This is probably the question you never even thought to ask. Some of you, it will seem obvious, but I get this question a lot. I get this question a lot more than I would ever expect to get this question from sellers, not so much from agents, usually from people who are outside of the real estate profession. And it's, I'm teasing about it in the opener, but it's really not an unreasonable question, and it will lead to some other good points. But do closets count in the overall square footage? The short answer is yes, usually. And this sort of goes back to how an appraiser measures. So when you look at your appraisal report, or if you get a professional measurement from an appraiser, you'll see like the individual rooms labeled. If it's a professional measurement, we go a step further and we give the dimensions of the interior room. And that's just to help the agent fill out their listing. But you might see some rooms left off, like you might see some closets left off, you might see a pantry left off. You might see some just small areas inside the house that are not included because they're sort of inconsequential as far as what we are doing on the appraisal. It does not mean that they are not included in the square footage, because when we measure the house, we do it from the outside. So not only is every closet, no matter how small it is, included in the overall square footage, but we're also going a step further, and we are including the drywall, we're including the 2x4 walls, or sometimes 2x6 walls if you got extremely tall ceilings. We're including the exterior wall covering, which is the brick or the siding. It's all included in the square footage when the appraiser measures it, and that is the industry standard. It's one of the reasons that I preach a lot about the value of getting a professional measurement from an appraiser, not from your photographer's floor plan scan, or some random person out there is offering professional measurements, but from an appraiser, because the way we do it has been determined by these national standards, and it's also the way your appraiser is going to do it when they come to the appraisal for the lender. And it's your best chance to get not only the most accurate square footage, but the most square footage on the property. So, all that to say, yes, the closet's included. Another thing that's included, if you have a two-story house, is now, because of these national standards that I just referenced, the stairwell is included in the second floor. Now, if you've got a stairwell that's sort of horseshoe shaped and there's a two-story opening in the middle of it, that two-story opening part would be excluded. But the stairs themselves, we measure into the second floor as if those stairs were folded up into the second floor. So even on a small stairwell, that's going to give you an extra 30-ish square feet into the second floor. What else do I want you to know about this? Another objection I've had, or concern that I've had from people, is when you're getting a professional measurement, it'll have the interior room dimensions labeled on there. So the primary bedroom might be 15 by 15. One of the bathrooms might be 8 by 6. And I have had readers of that sketch go through and literally do all the multiplication for the interior rooms and say, well, that doesn't match up with the exterior walls. Well, of course it doesn't, because we're not giving you the dimensions of the hallways. We're not giving you the dimensions of all these little areas that are included in there. So simply adding up all the room dimensions is not going to equal the overall square footage. And that also goes back to why these measurement standards were created in the first place, so that the appraiser or whoever does not have to worry about all these interior angles and cuts and all these little spaces inside and adding them all up. We'll simply measure from the outside and use our sketch software to calculate what the overall square footage is. If you do it correctly, and you've been taught to do it correctly, there's really not a lot of margin for error. Now, there are instances where you could have spaces inside the house that need to be cut out. This is very common on the second floor, but I've measured ranch homes that were really large. I'm thinking of one in particular that I measured that was like a true California style ranch, and in the center of it was a courtyard that you could only access from the interior living spaces. So imagine a square hole in the center of the house that, you know, was completely open to the outside. The dining room had some doors to it. The primary bedroom had some doors to it. It was just this really sort of elegant little courtyard right in the center that gave some views of greenery from the interior units. Even though we're measuring from the outside, we would go in and then cut that space out from the finished square footage. Again, may seem obvious to some people, but you know, the appraiser is looking for those things to cut out. We're looking for what might not be considered what we call GLA, which is gross living area. There are, if you've been in my appraisal class, there are specific standards for what qualifies as gross living area. But that's what we're looking for. We're there to measure and advise you on what might be a GLA issue. We're there to make it as accurate for you as possible, because you're going to have another appraiser coming along after us who's going to do the same thing. So that's my little tip for today. Not an extremely long video, not an extremely complex subject, but it is one that I have run into several times and had to explain, and I'll bet you will too. So I hope that's helpful. If we can be of service to you, you can find me at appraiserpool.com for residential appraisals, professional measurements, and consultations. And I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.